Sorry, everyone. I'm not sure what the holdup is. Silly me thinking they would start on time for the most important game of the year.
They're two first team all conference players.
It is very fast. Everyone trying to catch up. Whistles before the play got snapped. Your Benedict's here on your heels. You see all the hands on hips.
Timeout. It's the first quarter. I understand it's been tempo, but it's surprising to see those guys with their hands on their hips so early.
So 3rd and goal from about the 1.5-yard line coming up. Weish the back again. Have 2 tight ends in there to block. Can Benedict come up with a big goal line stand? Backed up.
Before the play clock expired, timeout. Albany State. This is their first timeout of the half. This is 30-second timeout.
So the Golden Rams get the timeout called before play clock wound down. If you're Benedict, again, gives you a shot to breathe here. Forces it just kind of will on will right now to keep him out of the end zone.
Well, I think right now you've got a lot of emotion in this football game, and maybe that's why you see the Benedict players with their hands on their hips. You've got adrenaline going. But right now for Albany State offensively, they've been able to do exactly what they've wanted to do. Not any negative plays. They're moving the ball up the field. They're passing the ball around, getting the ball to playmakers in the open space. And just when you think you've got those receivers covered, they hit you with the big run down the gut of that defense. So they've got this Benedict defense on their heels. They're thinking now as opposed to just playing.
Wonder how much that last meeting just under a month ago creeps into the minds of the Benedict players. Weish the back again. Davis in there to block. Direct snap to Weish. Trying to power his way home. Still awaiting the signal. There it is. Opening drive statement for Albany State at home.
You see the direct snap to Weish, and a good job by offensive lineman. You got lineman pulling around. A good job by the tight end, number 80, Jamarion Davis, with the seal block, giving Weish the space that he needed to get the ball north and south and get behind those linemen's hips and get the ball over the goal line.
Kyle Wright on to tack on the extra point. Fast start, quite literally, for Albany State. Well, they have been superb in the red zone this year. That was touchdown number 36 in the red zone this season 48 points a week ago. Fast start this week again.
And if you're Benedict, you've got to look at that first drive and you've got to say, okay, what plays did we have the opportunity to make that we did not make? You can't look at the overall success that Albany State had on that drive. You got to look at where you can make a play, because they're going to come back out, Albany State offensively, and do the exact same thing. And they're going to challenge Benedict to say, until you stop us, we're going to do it and do it and do it. Now, offensively, they've got to come out here, and I think they've got to put a drive together. I think one of the things coming into this game psychologically for them is we've got to be able to put a touchdown on the board. Only 3 points the last time these two teams played. They've been very effective since that football game scoring points, but they've got to get a score early, I think, confidence-wise for their offense.
And you told me that throughout the week. It would be imperative for Benedict to get off to a fast start on the road today. Down 7. Deshaun Mingo and Jackson Williams back to return this kickoff from Kyle Wright. Jackson Williams, dangerous returner, 2 touchdown returns this season. Offense patiently awaiting, trying to answer for Benedict's. That lone loss this season came against Albany State. We'll start up at about the 21-yard line. That's where Darius Ocean will begin the day for Benedict, as their offense comes out off a 16-13 low-scoring battle against Savannah State a week ago that went to overtime. Third time they've won a one-score game this year. They've had to win in different ways. 9-1 on the season. What do you like about Darius Ocean?
I like his ability to move outside of the pocket and extend plays. But I think for them to be successful, Tristan Morgan has to have a big game. You've got to feed your back. You've got to get that run game going. You've got to get that offensive line involved. I think that will open up the pass game for Ocean.
440 combined rushing yards over the last 2 weeks for Benedict. To that point, can they get it going against the best rushing defense in the SIAC? Ocean to throw on the first play as a completion. Able to connect with Noah Johnson. And that is the start you want offensively for your Benedict's gain of 27.
And that is a great confidence builder for Ocean coming into this game. 3 picks last week. A good job by the offensive line, giving him the time that he needs to get the ball down the field. He saw the matchup that was favorable and got the ball to his receiver.
See if they can maybe counter with some up-tempo action here. Slow it down, get the signal from the sideline. They felt like they had opportunities early on. They did. In the first meeting, there was a fumble and an interception that hurt them and led to such a good start for Albany State in that game. From Trey Simmons in motion as a decoy to the first run of the game. And again, the best rushing defense, one of the best in the country, ready there.
You see what they did with Simmons? They brought that orbit motion. They're trying to get the linebackers' attention. That's what you want to do with that motion in the backfield, get the attention of the linebackers.
Seeded out those numbers on October 25th. That point, 6 carries, just 14 yards for Morgan in that game. I think he's bound to have a much better day today, coming off 94 yards and a touchdown a week ago against Savannah State to punch their ticket to this game. They'll hand it off. Defense ready once again. Interior tackles along with Isaiah Morrison, who's been so good all season long, the Florida native.
And Benedict is getting absolutely no movement at the point of attacking. You see what Albany State is doing. They're bringing stunts. They're twisting their interior players, so they're confusing the blocking assignments of the Benedict offensive linemen. They've got to do a better job of identifying, and I think they may need to go to a zone blocking scheme as opposed to a man scheme, because right now that twist that they're doing defensively is giving those offensive linemen issues.
Pretty young offensive line for Benedict as well. Now in 3rd and 10, not ideal. Ocean going to flood the pressure. Ocean trying to keep it himself and get the first down. Looks like he has it. So all else fails, Darius Ocean, improvisation, and they call him just a winner at all levels. This was a winning play right here.
And you see right there, they brought the twist again. They brought a stunt. They brought the end around the edge, but Ocean was able to get outside of that end. The end has to make sure when he's coming around that he keeps contained. Sometimes these guys' eyes get big and they want to make the big play, but you've got to remember to be gap sound. So he needed to make sure he kept contained and not allow Ocean to get to the outside.
To that point, both coaching staff told us in a championship game, a lot of emotion, as you mentioned, Forrest, who can hone in on those details.
Is now number 87.
I'll hand it off again here. Tristan Morgan. Lunging ball did come out. Was it a live ball? If it is, it's Albany State football.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Albany State.
And this is kind of reminiscent of the last time these two teams played. You see a fumble right there. A great job by the defender getting the helmet directly on the football. That is what you ask for your defenders to do. Tyrell Gainey, number 39, doing a good job of identifying where the football was, getting that helmet across on that football. For Morgan, you've got to hold that ball high and tight. But Jason, this is reminiscent of the last time these two teams played. Benedict driving the football, and they have a costly fumble.
Tyrell Gainey had an interception last week. This week forces a fumble on a promising drive for Benedict that gives you a little deja vu, as you noted, Forrest. They had opportunities, as we just talked about, in the regular season matchup against Albany State early, but fumbled and had a pick thrown. So mirror image of that first matchup so far. Go to the ground with Weish. Kind of like they slow you down a little early for us, almost like a crossover, lull you to sleep, then blow by you.
And one of the things I like about Weish is he's a patient runner. He allows for his blocking schemes to develop. A lot of times you've got running backs, they just want to hit the hole and go hard in the paint. But I think what he does a good job of is allowing the blocking scheme to develop. And when he sees the crease, then he gets up the field north and south.
He was the freshman of the year in the SIAC last season. Sophomore year, Jacksonville, Florida native. Oh, that ball was dropped on the snap. Danger that time. But Weish able to pounce on it. They'll lose some yardage there. Set up third and what should be 11.
You see right there, Knowles got his eyes off of the football. Now, this is an interesting down right here, because you've got an opportunity now to see Izzy Nwochukwu off the edge, and he's a very dangerous pass rusher, number one at the top of the screen.
There he is from behind. Down goes Knowles. So you called it, Forrest. They bring the heat, dial it up on 3rd and 11, and able to atone for the interception from their offense.
And they did the same thing that Albany State did on defense. They brought a twist, a stunt, and Ty Patterson did a good job of getting up the field. And what you see in Ty Patterson is you've got a guy with linebacker speed on the edge coming up the field, and that's what makes him more difficult to block as opposed to a defensive lineman.
Ian Kelly back for his first punt. Mingo to return. The offense where Benedict's going to thank the defense here after the fumble. Oh, that punt was blocked! Trying to pounce on it to the end zone is Isaiah Brown. He does! Punt block, touchdown. Defense answers on special teams, and now we could be tied. They come after it after dialing up the pressure on 3rd and 11.
And what a turn of events. Isaiah Brown, number 31, got in there. A good job of blocking it as well as recovering the football. And that's just what the doctor ordered for this Benedict football team. It wasn't looking good after the turnover. A good job defensively stopping Albany State, forcing the punt attempt, and then a better job blocking the punt and covering it for the touchdown.
And what a turn of events to turn the tide on special teams. A flag prior to the extra point attempts.
Before the snap, offside, defense, number 99. That penalty is declined. We'll still have the try.
They get Taekwon Glenn there. Gotta feel the emotion shift early on the Benedict sideline. They needed that after how this game went through the first few minutes. Take 2 for Karwaki. Tie game in the SIAC championship. Ron Dickerson watches his team give it away, then get it back with the blocked punt and a special team score for Brown.
This is Jess, Peloton instructor, educator, game changer. She needs her money to work as hard as she does. That's why she uses U.S. Bank Smartly Checking and Savings, which does exactly that, helping her track her spending and grow her money. Together, we'll achieve more than any of us could alone. You got this, Jess.
We got this.
That's the power of Jess, and this is the power of us.
You're so much more than just a landowner. You're a gardener, a groundskeeper, and a landscaper. That's why you need versatile, durable Kubota equipment.
The Great Fire of 1835 forced most insurance companies to close, but not us. The day our founders pitched in to pay every claim is the day the Hartford became the Hartford.
After a huge new order was placed, we switched to AT&T Business Internet to keep up with the demand. We even brought on an intern to help. All right, clients are expecting delivery in a day. How's it going?
It's looking great, but they keep coming out upside down. Whoa, that's a lot to take in.
Hang in there.
Okay.
I think he's someone's nephew. He's okay, but the internet, great.
3, 2, 1.
Nuggets! Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm John.
And I'm Garrison.
And a little thing we love about the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets
is sharing it in the car during the holidays.
I do love that.
We will pack the car with gifts, and of course, we go and pick up our family's favorite nuggets.
Every nugget is tasty times quadrillion.
And we get all the sides.
Yeah, the ooey gooey mac and cheese is a big hit.
Everyone from 1 to 116 would love Chick-fil-A's chicken nuggets.
Real guests paid for their testimonials.
A lot of people think that Georgia Farm Bureau insurance is just for farmers, but most of our customers don't farm at all.
I love knowing it protects me and our access to locally grown food. Georgia Farm Bureau insurance is insurance I can feel good about. We are Farm Bureau.
Coming off the blocked punt, and recovered himself, and this game is tied up. Wouldn't have it any other way. A wacky, fun start to the SIAC championship game. These teams meeting in it for the second time in the last 3 years. Benedict's won 2 out of the last 3 SIAC championships, including 2023 against Albany State. So Albany State in search of revenge today, the host team in this year's conference championship on their home field. So now, Forrest, if we go back and look at that punt, a little flat coming off the foot of Ian Kelly.
You see right here, he's got to do a better job of getting elevation on that punt, and he needs to be, you know, a little bit more reactive. I thought he just took his time. He thought he was not going to have a pass rush. He's going to have all the time in the world. You've got to be more assertive than trying to get the ball out of there. It looked like he was going more for the length of the punt as opposed to getting the punt out of there. You've got pressure coming. You've got to get that punt out of there.
Every phase of the game tends to play a role in the postseason. Those little things, so you could essentially say turnover battle even now as Knowles comes back out. His second series, they scored in their opening drive. Looking for the edge here with Weish. Often we'll start with him offensively, then shift into the passing game. Very up-tempo. You tuned in late.
You see right there, Ryan Perry, number 56, has an opportunity to make a play, but Weish and his ability to slip Perry and get to the outside. A good job by George Jala to make that tackle, but a better job, I like, by Weish breaking, getting out to the edge, getting to the edge of that defense, and getting positive yards, not allowing the defensive end to bring him down.
Sets up 2nd and 5. They'll flip it to Roderick McRae this time. First time we've seen him. Got hit by Jahavian Phillips. 7 straight wins for Albany State since the September 13th loss at Florida A&M. 8-point loss. 3rd and 2 here. Both of these defenses, the top 2 in the conference on 3rd down defense, and you see it there with Benedict, and you can feel the momentum flowing through now. Amari Terry with the tackle. He's got 51 of them on the season. And that was a big one. They're going to force another punt.
What makes Terry such a dominant force at that star linebacker position is his ability to diagnose run fits. You see Terry right there, get inside. Helmet on the helmet, a great job by diagnosing, finding where the football is, and putting the hat on the hat. That's exactly how it's drawn up. You want to get your guy in the hole one-on-one with the ball carrier.
They brought Isaiah Brown towards the punter again. Didn't get there this time. Deshaun Mingo with the fair catch. And then got hit after. No flag comes there.
Yeah, but I still... You got the flag. Yeah, you've got to definitely throw the flag.
They made sure that they knew, but there was no flag.
A lot of people think that Georgia Farm Bureau insurance is just for farmers, but most of our customers don't farm at all.
I love knowing it protects me and our access to locally grown food. Georgia Farm Bureau insurance is insurance I can feel good about.
Fair catch. Where you're counting the steps here for us. You want me to count the steps before the hit? I counted 4, maybe 5.
I give it 5.
I give 2 seconds at least between the time he caught it and the contact. But no flag nonetheless.
Well, you know, they say let him play, but I mean, come on.
It's championship Saturday. You got to let him play. So now Darius Ocean and the Benedict offense come back out. Fumble last time they had it. Up the middle this time with David Smith. First time we've seen the redshirt sophomore from Houston. They call him kind of the lightning in a bottle back. Robert Floyd making the tackle there. He's been one of the top guys in the secondary for this Albany State defense. A special teams touchdown tied it. Benedict with the blocked punt. Then Isaiah Brown pounced on it in the end zone after blocking the punt. Go back to Smith trying to elude that initial breach of the O-line from this Albany State rushing defense. Has been the best in the conference all season. Hard to find the edge against him. Third and manageable coming up.
And a good job by Clint Scales getting immediate pressure up the field, not allowing the blocking scheme to develop. You see right there, up the field, right there, on top of the back, making him bounce it out to the outside. And a good job by David Smith. We talked about his speed, his burst. If that's not David Smith, that may be a tackle for a loss.
On third down, they'll keep it on the ground, and Smith had a good quick first step. Broke a tackle as well. Picked up 7, needed 5, enough for a first down.
And once again, that athletic ability by Smith to use that speed and that burst. Watch, you get initial pressure right here where Smith wants to go. A good job by Smith, once again, bouncing it to the outside, finding space and getting up the field to get the necessary yards needed.
Another handoff, Smith with another hole to run through. Rare to find those against the Golden Rams defense. You can tell they're frustrated after a couple of good runs from Smith, who's the guy that's cooking right now. He'll come out, though. Morgan likely to come in.
And a good job by that left side of that offensive line, Isaiah Richardson, Isaiah Turner, the 2 second-team all-conference players, getting a hat on the hat, giving Smith the space that he needs to get up the field.
Smith gets a rest. Now Tristan Morgan comes in. If that duo is cooking like this throughout the day, it's what Benedict wants, as Forrest talked about in the open. Blocking this time is Morgan for his QB, Ocean, who steps up and gets inside of the 35.
And you see that escapability by Ocean. He doesn't see anything. He's got immediate pressure, and he climbs the pocket. He sees he has the lane. He gets up the field to get positive yards. He's very elusive. You've got a defender right there, Andrew Ruffin, 50 opportunity to make a play. But Ocean, with his ability to escape pressure and get up the field.
Last year, their now redshirt freshman QB Jackson Jensen got injured. So they went out, recruited Ocean, landed him. He's taken over this starting role this year. Felt like he was a guy that could guide them to November in a conference championship game. He's on that stage now, and he's dancing again with his legs. Gets out of bounds here.
And a good job by Sharice Peterson, number 92, getting up the field, getting past the offensive lineman, pressing Ocean, not allowing him to plant and get north and south. Ocean wanted to get north and south, but 92, Sharice Peterson did a good job of getting penetration and not allowing him to set that foot and get north and south.
See Peterson there, just the redshirt freshman from Georgia. Brings up 3rd and 5. Definitely a down to keep an eye on today, because these are the 2 best third down defenses in the conference. Benedict has already converted once on 3rd down in this series. Second time they've been inside the 35 of Albany State. Last time they fumbled. High snap there. Ocean under pressure, and he gets dropped back. Lost his helmet after a heavy hit from Joshua Jones. Loss of 9.
And if you saw what Albany State did in that play, no stunts, no twists. We're just going to bring the house. Everybody come downhill, and we're going to bring and see if you can block us one-on-one. They brought more than they could block. It started out with a high snap for Ocean, so that started to play off negatively. And then he's got immediate pressure coming from the outside. There's nowhere for him to step up in the pocket because he had pressure in his face. A great job by the Albany State defense.
And really pushed him out of field goal range in the process. So punting unit comes on. Colton Ford, sophomore from Arizona, Cameron Watts back to return.
That's the end of the first quarter.
That'll happen when we come back. 7-7 start. Second time in the last 3 years these teams have met in an SIAC championship game. That trophy on the line today. Fittingly a tie game after one between the conference's two best.
The Great Fire of 18...
This year's SIAC championship game in a packed house on a beautiful afternoon in Georgia. Start of the second quarter, Jason Ross Jr., Forrest Connolly with you, our outstanding ESPN crew. Colton Ford to punt as we flip sides of the field. Cameron Watts will let that sail and roll into the end zone. Do you think Forrest missed opportunity on that last drive? That second time they got inside the 35 of Albany State, Benedict's offense.
Absolutely, but Albany State's defense has done a good job of making a big play when it was needed. I like what they brought pressure on that play. They brought more than Benedict could block. And when you have that type of pressure for a quarterback, he needs to be able to get the ball really quickly and diagnose where the pressure is coming from, because that's where his open receiver will be. But because of that high snap, he had to first initially make sure he got possession of that football, which I think allowed the defense to get to him.
Did you feel like they set the tone by going to the air first play, Benedict?
Absolutely.
Balance-wise?
Well, it showed that they are not afraid to throw the ball. We know coming into this game, they had ran the ball extremely well in the last two ball games since that game against Albany State. So I think they thought the thinking was, and everyone's thinking was, they're going to come in and try and continue what they've been doing running, and they came out throwing. So I thought that was big of them.
Another series for Albany State. Punt last time out. Dump it off here to Jamarion Davis, who stepped up into the starting tight end role when Xavier Herndon went down. That was 6 weeks ago. Davis has been really good in the role ever since. Gain of 5 there.
You see what Knowles is doing. He's looking over his receivers. He's going through his progressions. He doesn't see what he wants down the field with the vertical pass.
Isaiah Knowles, their QB, third year in the program, played in the 2023 championship game against Benedict in search of revenge today. His family sitting below us, his own cheering section right below our broadcast booth. They'll hand it off here. It's Weish who gets stood up on the edge. Dante Braggett Drake, the corner, along with Amari Terry, coming up to make the play.
And you see what's happening right now. The defensive linemen are doing a good job of occupying space. A good job by Casey Bolton, half pint as they call him, and Desmond Thompson, those two interior linemen. What they're doing, they're getting pushed right in the center of that defense, and they're not allowing those guards to climb up to the second level and cover up those linebackers, allowing Patterson, Terry, Stevens, all those guys to flow downhill from the linebacker position from Benedict.
Benedict defensive coordinator Shea Campbell is fired up for this matchup. Throw to the sideline. That is a lunging grab caught on the near side by Corey Petty. They really love him in those mid to short range scenarios. Gets enough there to move the chains. Picks up 6 on 3rd and 5.
And that was an excellent throw by Isaiah Knowles. It was a throw where only Corey Petty could make a play on the football. And a good job by Petty, helping his quarterback out, extending his body, giving his body up to make that catch for the first down.
Petty, the transfer from Tuskegee, likes to be called Deuce. Big in their 10 personnel look. They'll fake it, go over the middle again this time. It is caught again, and it's Petty again. He's breaking free to the second level, inside of the 20. Petty down to the 10. Amari Terry with the touchdown saving tackle. It is a gain of 60.
And what happens is when you run the ball on first down, defenses tend to think that's what you're going to do. And you see Petty right there in the middle. He finds a hole in that defense. He breaks the tackle and he gets to the outside. And you see the speed once he gets the reception. One of the things that was big in the last game were chunk plays, 5 over 20 yards. That's the first one this afternoon.
First and goal, up the middle and down to the 5 goes Weish, who's been so good in the red zone this year. They've got 36 total red zone touchdowns as an offense, really elite in this part of the field. Trying to break the tie early on in the second quarter. Albany State scored first on their opening drive. Benedict answered with the blocked punt and pouncing on the blocked punt in the Albany State end zone. See the red zone numbers for both of these teams. Most of the time when you look up the stats for these two squads, they're either first and second, flip-flop them in practically every category in the SIAC. So you truly have the two best going head-to-head today in the conference championship game. Knowles under pressure, eluding pressure. Gonna pump, gonna hit the end zone.
Isaiah Knowles on the quarterback keeper for the Golden Rams for ASU touchdown. Places 4. Albany State 13, Benedict College 7, sending the PAT.
And that was a good job by Knowles. Initial pressure from Casey Bolton. But what I like what they did, they condensed the formation. They tightened everything down, which created outside areas for Knowles to first go for the potential pass. He initially wanted to pass the ball to Weish, but they had that covered up. You see his ability to reverse field, get back to the other side of the formation. And because of that tight formation, he had space to get to the outside to score the touchdown.
Kyle Wright on to attempt the extra point. Albany State, similar image to how they began the opening quarter of this game. Going down the field in a hurry. It was 6 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. A 60-yard catch and run from Corey Petty set him up in the red zone. And then Isaiah Knowles, an elusive run to cap off the drive and put the Golden Rams in front, 14-7. was his numbers on the day. 6 for 7, 99 yards. Has ran for at least 25 yards in every game. Caps that last drive off with the rushing touchdown.
And he got the big play to Corey Petty on that last drive. And I think what he's doing again is spreading the ball around. There's not one receiver you can key on if you're Benedict. And that ability on that last play, you saw the escape ability, his ability to read and take what the defense is giving him. He wanted to go to his receiver out of the backfield, but he played it smart. He kept the ball. He faked as he was going to throw the ball. He knew he could get back on the other side of that offense to that offensive line because of the condensed formation that they had with everybody inside and get to the edge to get that touchdown.
He told us yesterday that I trust the O-line with my entire life. I have all season long. They are leading the way so far for him to have a very poised day.
You know, it's interesting. We talked about it. When you look at what Albany State brings to the table, they've got 3 first-team all-conference players: the left tackle, the left guard, and the right tackle. But on the other side of the football, the other side of the field, you've got a Benedict team with 3 second-team all-conference players on the offensive line at the left tackle, left guard, and center. So if I'm an offensive lineman and I'm second team, I'm feeling angry because the guy across the field has got my first-team vote. So I'm coming and trying to knock somebody off the ball. So I look for both of these offensive lines to continue to have great afternoons.
So many little revenge plots in the narrative of this matchup. Squeaking through a hole there. Good job from the offensive line, leading the way for Tristan Morgan. Those young guys, Isaiah Richardson on the left tackle side, Moses Eccles at left guard, both freshmen leading the way here.
When you look at those 2 big guys, one thing that they do a good job of, Isaiah Richardson does a good job of getting to the inside shoulder of those defensive ends and turning them out, giving that lane. And Isaiah Turner, he's crashing down on that 3 technique.
I've also seen David Smith break some good runs in this game for Benedict. Running game that's been